Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Mike Reed here. Welcome back to part 4 of the Ultimate Bakugan Reboot Collection review. My God, why was that so hard for me to say? My God, I am stuttering like a madman today. Okay, so anyways, you guys already know the drill. We're gonna look at some more figures. Not really gonna say much on that. Let's just move on to the next figure from last time. So here we are. Here he is. Nice little Orlis Bakugan here. Again, another Ultra. This is Ultra class. Well, Ultra class. Ultra Dragonoid. Garganoid! My God! Wow! I called you Dragonoid again. What am I doing? Okay. Anyways, so here he is. This is Garganoid, not Dragonoid. Dragonoid's completely different. I don't know why I called him Dragonoid. I think it's because, well, he has wings like a dragon. So. Anyway, so Garganoid's kind of a cool character. Let's get a closer look up at his head sculpt. Very nice design there. Let me smooth the arms out of the way. Very nice details. Nice little silver details on the jaw. And nice black for the eyes. And this kind of little bird beak kind of thing he got going on there. And that's a nice little ears on the sides of his head. Moving on to the arms. The arms are very nicely detailed. Very nice silver claws on him. Does look quite nice. And I do like his arm details as well, with these nicely molded shoulder pads and these nice molded kind of plating on the sort of joint of the arm. Moving on to his legs are quite nice as well, with nice details to the sort of lower thigh. Nice details to his claws, which again are left unpainted but are still molded. Yeah, nice details on the legs as well. These kind of black stripes on the legs, which again are pretty much the same on both sides. And then we have the wings, which are very nicely detailed as well. Nice molded detail in them. Nice kind of like veins, kind of like bone structures going through the wings, as they should be. Then on the back, we do have these nice molded details as well on the back, with the black kind of stripe going down the sort of the edge of the wing there on both wings. And then you have a nice little detail for the tail as well, which is all spring-loaded for the whole jumping function. And there you go. So that is Garganoid. Now, one thing I do have a problem with on this particular figure design is he kind of looks like he's just squatting over ready to take a poop. I don't know why I decided to go for this design, but there you go, I guess. Well, he kind of does. Well, I guess it kind of looks like he's like. I don't think he's supposed to be looking like he's squatting over taking a poop. I think that what they're trying to do is make it look like he's kind of like squatting down, kind of like, trying to make himself look bigger, I guess. But because of the toy design and because of, my childlike mind, it looks like he's doing something else. So, but there you go. That is Orlis Garganoid. Now, I do also have a Darkest Diamond version of him as well that you guys are going to see in a little bit. And I do quite like him as well. And plus, again, he is a diamond, so that's even better. And on top of that, he's kind of a rare figure nowadays. So, yay me. Anyway, so let's move on to the next character, which is Gray. Oh my God, welcome at me to the stream. There is the next figure that we're going to look at. And this is an ultra version of a figure we literally looked at, like, in the last parts. This is Ultra Trucks. And yeah, he doesn't jump very well, my particular copy. As you can see, he just basically did a face plant and just kind of slammed his feet into the ground. That must have hurt. Anyway, so looking at Trox, he does look quite nice in his Ultra form. But let's go look at that head sculpt. Much, much better than his previous version, as he looks a lot more T-Rex-like. At least from the side profile. Nice black on the teeth, black for the eye, a nice molded face, and silver detail for the jaw. Now, one problem I do have with his head, look at it. he has a big fat meathead. Well, he is kind of a meathead in the cartoon, so I guess it kind of makes sense that he has a big fat head. He has this stupid little spike on his head, which I don't think he actually has in the beast form, I don't think. But, toys. Anyway, so moving on to the arms. The arms are very wimpy, as they should be. Very small, very limp, but nice amount of detail on them nonetheless. I like that they actually detailed each of the little fingers. They didn't have to do that, but I'm glad they did. Nice more detail going on the sides and on the chest. Let me move the head out of the way, so you can actually see that. Very nicely molded. We do have the legs back here, which are very nicely molded, with the silver kind of armor there, nice molded feet with black claws, and nice molded details on the toes in the gold. And we just have a little limp tail, which is very nicely molded as well. So there you go. My one problem, again, I have with this Trox, he just stares straight up at the sky. Like, how is that going to help you in battle? What is so interesting up in the sky that you have to be, like, just looking up there all the time? Anyway, moving away from that, let's bring in Pyrus Trox Core for comparison. So that way you can see the two T-Rexes together. So there you go. There you have the two guys together. And again, out of the two, I like this one better, just because it actually looks like a T-Rex. Even though, again, I hate the fact that he's just looking up at the sky all the time. Thankfully, the Armored Alliance version that you guys will see in Part 5 fixes this issue. So, I'm glad that they did that for the Armored Alliance version. But for this first version of the character, yeah, I don't like that. I don't like that he just looks up at the sky all the time. Also, welcome, Agent, to the stream. How you doing? Nice to see you. I was actually not expecting you to join as quick as you did, but I'm glad you're here nonetheless. So, also sorry for the gross noises. As you know, allergies. So, anyway, let's see. Now, actually, something else I also want to mention about Trox Ultra that I actually do like is how he transforms. Let me actually show you guys how it works. So, you take his legs, and you basically break his legs like so. So, you take them, you fold them like that, and these little tabs here. And you just kind of just fold him all up, like so. Then his head and his tail kind of just all fold in unison to kind of get him to close up. And that's how you close him. So I think that's really interesting, how you spin the legs all the way around and basically break his hips. Yeah, it's absolutely hysterical. But anyway, moving away from that, let's move on to one of my personal favorite Aurelus Ultras. Actually, one of my favorite Ultras in general. Here she is. I talked about her before, and she is, again, one of my favorites. This is the Phoenix Bakugan that I was talking about before. This is Pyravian. There we go. And Pyravian, as I said, is absolutely gorgeous. One of my favorite Ultra designs besides Lupithion. She is just gorgeous. I mean, just look at her. Look at that. Let's start off with the head here before we get into anything else. The head is very nicely molded, as you can see with this big black head crest right on her head. And then you got the small little eyes there, nicely detailed in the silver, nicely molded. And then we have a little beak right there, as a bird should. Then moving on to these massive wings, they have some really nice detail going on. With the nice silver plumage, nice black little molded detail on the wing there. More plumage going down, and then we have this little black plastic bit right at the end. So moving on to the body, I guess, is the next logical place to go. Nice mold detail for the legs, which again are not posable, they are static. And then we have nice mold detail for the chest. So yeah, this is where the leg kind of starts, and then it kind of ends like right there. Right there, so the foot ends, and that's where the chest begins. But at first I thought this was all one big foot, and then this was the actual leg, but nope. Maybe if they actually colored it in better, maybe it would have been easier to actually identify where the leg starts, where it ends, and then where the chest starts and ends. But anyway, so then moving on to the tails. Yes, tails. These are not legs, obviously, as we just looked at them. But anyway, they have very nice detail on them. And there's kind of black stripes going on. And I do like these little silver parts as well. I think these are a very nice accent. And again, they are, posable. So you can pose them how you like. And then you have the back tail as well, which is very nicely molded. And it actually does have nice little plumage molding on the side, which I do like. The attention to detail there. So, there you go. That is Pyravian. Now, as I said before, she is absolutely huge. Again, as you guys can see, she absolutely towers over the card. I mean, seriously, it's just ridiculous how big that wingspan is. But again, as I said, one of my favorite Ultra designs. Though sadly, this is my only Pyravian I have. As the other ones, just haven't been able to find them in either sets I want to get, or, in just reasonable prices. So, glad I got this one anyway. And a fun fact about this particular copy of Pyravian is that actually she was the only one in stock for
for the later waves of Battle Planet. She was one of the only ones that was on the shelf. So I'm glad I got her when I did. Because now it's pretty much impossible to find her, Pyravian. But, of course, you can always find her online, but even at that, she's kind of expensive. I have no idea why. It's probably because of her rarity. But even still, let's move right along to the next figure, which, again, is a recolor, or less recolor, of a Bakugan we looked at earlier in this sort of mini-series. This is the Auralus version of Vicerox Ultra. Now, something I don't like about my particular copy is, as you can see right away, he kind of has a limp leg. For some reason, this leg spring is just not very good, or there's something wrong with the leg here. I don't know what it is. I think it's something to do with the plastic or just how it was molded, but it just kind of leans to one side, and that really annoys me. I like my Chaos version, that actually stands up perfectly, but even still, I like the way he looks, so, in this color scheme. I think this color scheme fits him pretty well. Yeah, let's do some comparisons. So starting off, let's compare it to the Auralus Core version, because why not? So you can see the two together right there. And as I said, I quite like both of them together. It's always nice to get both color variants of the Core and Ultra of a particular character. It's always good to have. So, I enjoy that, seeing these two together. But again, out of the two, actually bring them back in the frame. I actually like, in this case, I actually favor both of them. Both of the designs I think are great. This one's kind of cute and nice, and this one's just all over the place, and I love it. I just love how all over the place Vicerox Ultra is. Like, there is, like, I don't even know where the guy starts or ends. He's just all over the place. I love it. Now, again, for comparison as well, let's bring in his Chaos version as well, so we can see both versions together. So there you go. And again, I like the way the two look. And again, both these guys really give me that droidica look to them. Especially when they roll and when they jump properly, they definitely give me the droidica kind of feels. So, I do like the two. So there you go. So that is Auralus Vicerox Ultra. And again, I believe I got him in a multi-pack as well, which is even better. I don't remember the exact Bakugan that came in the pack I got him in, but nonetheless, I'm still grateful to have both of them. But again, and just minor complaint again with the Auralus copy I have, it doesn't stand all that well. It kind of leans to one side, as you saw in the comparison shot there. So that's my only one minor gripe with the figure. So moving right along to the next figure. This is actually the first version of the figure that we looked at last time. This is the Auralus version of Lupithion. And of course he fell straight to the floor, but even still, I love the way he looks in this design. Again, one of my favorite Ultra designs, as I said last time. And this is, again, my original version. My one problem I have with this particular copy, as you could tell with other copies that I was talking about before of other characters, is that he has a really hard time closing. I have no idea why. He is just so fussy to close. So, that's my minor complaint with him. But moving away from that, let's bring in the original version, well, my second version for comparison, the Chaos version. So that way you can see both of them together. And again, these two look really good together. I think that the gold and the silver look really good on this first version, but also I really do like the teal and the white. So out of the two, at least for the time being, I favor this one a lot more, just because it was my first version that I got. But I like both of them together still. They both look really good together. But there we go. So that is, what is that? Auralus Lupithion Ultra. There we go. And he is quite the nice character. As I said, one of my just such a really interesting and really unique design. That's why I love the Battle Planet series in general. Like their whole kind of idea of just going wild with the designs, just making creatures that you wouldn't expect to become a Bakugan character into one, you know? And so far, for what Armored Alliance has coming up, there's some pretty interesting characters on the roster for sure that are going to be coming up. And especially with the next wave that should be coming out later this month, either that or next month. I believe they're slated for this month, actually. If I can actually get out of the house, that is. There are these new Baku fusions coming up, and I think you guys are going to really like them. It's exactly what you think it is. It's two characters merged together into one character, and it's really cool. I think you guys will really like it. But again, as soon as I can actually, get, out of the house and actually get to one of my local stores, hopefully by the time I do that again, which again probably won't be for a while, hopefully I can get my hands on those because those are so cool, and I think you guys will really like them. So moving away from that, let's move on to the next figure. This is the Ultra version, and the only Ultra version of this character I have. If you guys already saw him before, you'll know that I think he's one of the weirdest Ultras that was ever made for Battle Planet. This guy is just so peculiar. I don't even know what they were thinking when they were making this design. This is the Ultra version of Kleptor. And as I said before, what even is this design? I mean, just let me get into the light so you can actually see. I just don't know what they were going for with this design. I mean, he's just all over the place. Let's actually start with the face here. As you can see, right up there, you got his big, giant eyeball there, which I do like because it actually is kind of posable. So you can make him look up, you can make him look down, you can make him look to the left, like if there's something to the left of him, something to the right. So, there you go. You can completely spin his eye all the way around. You can just have him looking with the back of his eye. Either way, it's just really weird design. And then you have these claw parts right up at the front, which at first I thought were teeth, but nope, these are just claws, just extensions of his face. But anyway, well, lack thereof. Then moving on to his wings, I guess. They are very nicely molded. I will say that. And they're nicely painted on the bottom for some reason. You'd think that they would paint them on the top, but nope, it's at the bottom. And then we have these top wings up here, which are nicely molded. But, yeah, I do like it. Do like the nice silver for the membranes of the wings. And then these nice little black little claw things on these sort of where I'm guessing the shoulders would be for the wings? Or elbows? Not shoulders, elbows. There we go. Moving on to his tail, it is quite nice designed. I do like the silver and the gold on it. Oh, this kind of gold kind of rune-like detail on the back of the tail. And then you have these nice little silver details going on the sides of his body. Now, funny thing is that this character actually has a gimmick in this open form. So you see on the side, there's this little gold protrusion right here. That's actually a button. You push that, and his eyeball rolls out of his head. I have no idea why they designed it like that, but yep, his eyeball just pops right out at you. Actually, I'm gonna do that right into the camera. Let's see if I can hit the camera. I actually hit the tripod, but the phone stand. But there you go. So that is him. That is Kleptor Ultra. Now for comparison, let's bring in his Aquos Core version, so that way we can see both versions together. And again, out of the two, I like this one a lot more. Definitely. Because it's just so weird and out there. Especially with the gimmick where he shoots the eyeball out of his head. I don't know what they were thinking with this design, but still, he is just such a weird character. Just a big eyeball monster. So, well, then again, Bakugan are supposed to be aliens from another world, so I guess it would make sense that there would be some kind of giant eyeball monster flying around. But there you go. So that is Kleptor Ultra. Quite the weird and quirky little character. Also, his face kind of reminds me of Wheatley from Portal. I don't know why, but he just does. And if you know who Wheatley is from the Portal games, then you'll know that he pretty much looks pretty identical to him. So, yeah, which, by the way, I really should play Portal in terms of my gaming videos. I need to do that at some point. If it is on the PS4 store, I'll definitely grab it. And definitely give it a playthrough, because I've always wanted to play Portal. So, I should do that at some point. But anyway, that's besides the point. So, this is a toy review, not a gaming video. At least not for today. And if Kleptor would actually close properly, that would be great. Ah, jeez. For some reason, he is just not working with me today. Why is it today you give me issues? Okay, so gotta close them up like that. Okay, just gotta get the wings wrapped around them. There we go. Close these up. Alright, I got it now, I think. Yep. Alright, he is closed up. Yep, there we go. So that's Clopter out of the way. Let's get the card back into frame. And then let's move on to the last few Bakugan of the collection. The Darkest Collection. Starting with our good old friend here. We already saw him many times before. This is my final version of Dragonoid. This is Darkest Dragonoid Core. And again, reviewing Darkest Bakugan in this video is going to be really hard because of the black and the fact that the camera's having a hard time picking it up. He looks very nice. I do like the purple and the green on him. Does look quite nice. Nice purple membranes going on. I just really like the way this guy looks. In Darkest, he looks very evil. Very menacing looking. Now again, for comparison, let's bring in the other buddies. Let's bring in his Ventus version. If we could actually open up properly. Let's bring in Aquos Dragonoid and Pyrus Dragonoid. Let's grab them all and just throw them all on here. There we go. So that is my Dragonoid little quartet I got going here. And I love the way all four of these look together. Again, all these colors together just... And they're completely different colors. We got the blue and the powder blue, the red and the orange, the green and the yellow, and the dark... the lime green and the yellow and the sort of dark green. And then we have the black, the purple with the green. I'm surprised at how well these three well, not three, four of them, all four of them actually work together in terms of the colors. So, but again, out of all of these, which obviously you guys kind of already know that I love them all, because why would I have bought them? Because I wouldn't have bought them if I didn't like them. And out of all of these together, if I was to do like a quick kind of favorites, this one first, this one second, this one third, this one fourth. So, but again, looks very nice. So I do like him. So that is Darkest Dragonoid Core. And I think he is a very nice figure. I think he works very well for, again, the Darkest color scheme. And plus, it's kind of nice to have an evil colored Dragonoid. I think it looks really, really nice. And again, the black really helps with making out some of the details. Well, that and the blue, the Aquos version, kind of helps well as well, but that's besides the point. So, let's move on to the next figure, who is, again, another recolor of a figure that we already looked at before, which, if I can actually close these guys up and bring her into frame, that would help. As you can kind of make out already who this is the Darkest version of Pegatrix Core. And again, in Darkest, she looks very nice. She kind of looks like a, how do I say this? She looks like a dark horse, for sure. So, insert Katy Perry song here. But either way, still, it's just great. I love the way this looks. Again, the green and the purple and the black all very nicely complement each other and make for a really evil-looking Pegasus. I really like the way it looks. So I do like it. Now again, for comparison, let's bring in her Ventus counterpart. So, there you go. So there you have the two figures together. And again, out of the two, I like this one more. Just because, as I said, the colors, I think, fit Pegatrix a lot more than the Ventus does. The Ventus is okay looking, but it's just, I don't know. It's just, I like the Darkest one better. That's just, again, my personal preference. But, as I keep saying before, that's just for today. As tomorrow it might change, but again, that's with any kind of collectathon thingamajig. Great description there, Mike. Anyway, let's move on to the next figure, shall we? Which is the last version of this figure I have in the collection. We already saw him multiple times before. This is the Darkest version of Hydrus. I do like him a lot. He is quite nice. Again, I think that the blacks, the purples, and the greens really fit the figure very well. And overall, he just has a very menacing appearance. So now let's bring in the other buddies for comparison time. So let's bring in, where is the Ventus one? Ventus Hydrus. Let's bring in the, let's see, I don't have Aquos Hydrus, that's right. Where's the other Hydrus in the collection? Okay. Yeah, man, Aurelus, there we go. Where's Aurelus Hydrus at? He's hiding somewhere. Oh, yep, there he is. Okay, let's bring in the other buddies. So, we're just gonna fold them all. There we go. And then I have to get them all nice and displayed. I guess I'll have to do. But there you go. So you have all 3 core Hydruses all together. And again, as I keep saying, I love the way all 3 of these look together. Again, it's amazing how these completely, vastly different color schemes all seem to work together as a nice, cohesive team. But again, out of all 3 of these, if I had to pick favorites, this one first, this one second, this one third. So, there you go. So let me just close him up. And put him over here. And then put this guy over here. And then we're going to bring out the next figure once I close them all up. Which, again, this is the first version of a figure that I already showed you guys before in Ventus. And I love the way she looks in this color scheme. This figure, once I actually bring her out. Here she is. You already saw her before, again in Ventus, and you also saw her in Aurelus as well. This is Darkus Phaedrus Ultra. Not Ultra, Core. My apologies. But still, in Darkus, I love the way this figure looks. And again, as sort of her native faction in the anime, she looks great in this color scheme. I think that this color scheme suits her a lot better than the other ones do. But then again, that could just be because, you know, it's supposed to be her native faction. That's what you saw. But anyway, let's bring in the other buddies for comparison time. So let's bring in Ventus. I have to actually take her off the card. And then the Aurelus version. And then get all 3 of them on the card for display. And there we go. There we have all 3 dragons all together. And again, these 3 all make a very cohesive team together. Again, due to the sheer size of them, it's almost impossible to get them onto the cards. But actually, I actually got them in a very nice pose here. Like how they're all flying together, which is kind of cool. So I do like that. So there you have that. That is Darkus Phaedrus Ultra. Core. My apologies. Why keep calling her Ultra? Anyway, I'm looking at the Ventus Phaedrus Ultra. That's why I'm doing it. Well, and plus she kind of does look like an Ultra because she is, you know, really big. But still, it's surprisingly big, especially for a core design, which the core designs are supposed to be very simplistic, not too, you know, complicated, but still, good stuff. Alright, so let's move on to the next figure, who is the first of only 2 Darkest Diamonds in my collection. Which let's bring him out. We already saw this guy again before in Aquos. This is the original figure in my collection, the Darkest Diamond version of Pt.4. And again, I love the way this figure looks in Diamond. Diamond always is always a cool, you know, recolor for a character, and especially for Pt.4 and my first version of Pt.4 in a Diamond. It could have not been any more perfect to get this figure in the collection as a Diamond. I mean, my god, it couldn't have been more perfect. Now again, for comparison's sake, I'm going to bring in the Aquos version that we looked at before. So that way you can see both the figures together. And again, out of the 2, I like the Diamond version a lot more, because Diamonds always are better than the solid color versions. Because I mean, who doesn't? I mean, clear makes everything cooler, right? You know, like those glass tables you can get like at Home Depot or something. Those are always cool. You know, because who actually wants a nice wooden table? Nah. You gotta get those clear glass ones, because those ones are always cool. Although, again, keeping those clean is nearly impossible. And trust me, I know. Not that I have one in my room or anything, but downstairs in my kitchen I do. And, yeah, it's in desperate need of a cleaning. So, but then again, clear, as I said, is always cooler. So anyways, move on to the next figure, who is, again, the third version of a figure we already looked at before. The front of it pretty much gave it away who it is. This is the darkest core version of Cubbo. I almost call him Clapdoor. And there we go. Again, I think that this color scheme works really well for Cubbo. The purple and the green and the black, I think, look very nice. But again, due to the lighting and just due to how the black is and how it picks up on camera, it doesn't exactly look as good as it really should. But there you go. So that is Darkest Cubbo. Now let's bring in the other versions, the Ventus and the Aquas versions. We can get our little bear trio going on. No, chase. And of course, Aqua's Cubbo bounces off the card. Let me actually see if I can actually get him to open up properly. There we go. I just need to unfold the arms on the Aquas version, and unfold the arms on the Ventus version. And there we go. So there we have our little bear trio. And again, all three of them look really good together. I think they all make a very cohesive team, as I keep saying, with all my sort of trio of figures that I have in the collection. But again, if I had to pick a quick game of favorites, this one first, this one second, this one third. So there we go. That is Darkest Core Cubbo. I think he is quite the cute little duder, and I do like having him in the collection. And sadly, he is the last core in my collection of Darkest Core figures. Now, the last ones for this video are just going to be Ultras. So, yeah, let's get right on to that. Starting with the first Ultra in the collection, if I can actually not drop it back into the cubby. There we go. So you can see how he looks there. We already saw this guy before in Aquos and in Chaos. This is the darkest version of Hydrus Ultra. And this is actually the second version of Hydrus Ultra that I have in the collection. In terms of the times that I acquired the figures. And I do like this one a lot. I think the darkest colors really fit him. I think he is quite good. So again, let's bring in the other bodies for comparison. Let's bring in the Aquos version. Right there. If I can actually get the feet to drop down. There we go. And then we're going to bring in the Chaos version as well, which, where the heck is he? Oh, he's over here. There we go. Alright, so there's your little trio of lions there. And again, I do like how all three of them look. I think all three of them look quite well together. Again, make a very nice and cohesive team together. And again, if I have to pick a quick game of favorites, I would say this one first, this one second, this one third. So there you go. That is Darkest Hydrus Ultra. I do quite like him. He is quite nice in the collection. Again, very happy to have him. As they all three of them do look very nice together. Although, like I said, getting these guys to close is kind of a pain. But I mean, once you get it, you pretty much get them down. So, I'll actually, again, show how to close them in a second. Because, you know, just because I'm in the mood to show you guys how it transforms. So you just take the arms and you just fold those up. Take the head and fold it down until it snaps into place. Take the tail, move it out of the way. Get the feet all folded up and the legs closed up next to the body. Fold the tail up and then push everything together. And bam. That's them all closed up. So that is Hydrus Ultra. Now let's move on to the next figure, who is again the first version of this figure that I've had in the collection in terms of the times that I acquired the figures. This is Darkest Syndius Ultra. And I quite like this one a lot better than I did the Diamond, just because, in terms of the quality, because this one, in terms of the quality, is a lot better. Now, in terms of the designs, I like my diamond version a lot more. But even still, it's great to have the character in Darkus. I think he looks very intimidating in this sort of evil, dark color scheme. Now, again, for a quick comparison, we are going to bring in the diamond version as well, if I can actually get him out of the cubby. Oh, jeez. He's being quite the slippery little bugger today. Got him. There we go. And they put both in there. So there we go. And again, these two make a very nice cohesive team together. I think they both work very well for what they're trying to achieve. But again, out of the two, I like this one first, this one second. Because, like I said, clear is always better. But there you go. So that was Darkus Insidious Ultra, and I do quite like him. Now the next figure in the collection I'm going to show you guys is another one that I really do like, because its Ultra form is just really, really nice. I already saw this figure multiple times in its core form, but sadly this is the only one I actually managed to acquire in its Ultra form, which is kind of a shame. But I will bring him out in a second as soon as I can actually close up Diamond Insidious over here, who is being quite the fiddly booger today, but thankfully he is starting to cooperate with me. And there we go, have him closed up. Alright. So let's bring in the next Ultra. Right here. You could kind of make out who this kind of is already. This is the Ultra version of, who is it? Fangzor. There we go, Darkus Fangzor Ultra. Holy crap, I nearly jumped off the card. But as you guys can see, he looks much, much better than his core form. He actually looks like a snake ready to strike, and he looks way more accurate to his actual beast form. So let's get a close-up of this guy, shall we? Again, it's going to be hard to pick it up on camera, but there is nice little details on his face. I do like the nice little plastic kind of fangs dripping down from his mouth. I do like that. Nice molded detail for the head with the eye spots on the top and then the eye spots in the hood, which is quite nice. And they are quite smaller on this version than on the cores, where they're absolutely massive. Moving on to the inside here, it does have very nice molded detail. I'll have the camera pick it up. There we go. You can kind of make it out right there. Nice details on these sort of lower fang-like parts on his neck. Then moving on to his backside, we do have these nice details on the sides of his body with the nice snake detail going down the back. And then some nice molded detail for the tail as well. A nice molded detail for this little flat part. And there you go, that's Fangzor Ultra. Now for comparison, I'm only going to bring in one core version for this segment. Let's bring in the Pyrus version. So you can see how both versions look together. Now again, out of the two, I like this one a lot more in terms of the design, because it looks way more akin to how it looks in its beast form. And this version I also like as well, because it kind of looks more like a snake. But in terms of what it's supposed to be, a cobra, this one gets the way more accurate cobra design. Like, he actually looks like he's ready to lunge at you. Like, it looks really cool. Like, he's ready to just go nah right at you. So I do like that. So that is Darkus Fangzor Ultra. Quite the nice figure. I wish I actually had the Darkus core version as well, but finding that one is really hard to find. Not to mention that it's his native faction as well, which would be nice to have. But anyway, let's move on to the next figure, who is again the diamond version of a figure we looked at before in Aurelus, earlier in the video. This is the Ultra version of Darkus Garganoid, almost called him Dragonoid again. So there we go. Now usually he actually opens up properly, but this time I guess he overflipped. But even still, he looks great in this diamond form. Again, love the way the diamond colors beautifully make him look like a beautiful work of art in this particular release of the figure. I think he looks really nice. And again, clear is always better. So let's move on to comparison time with the Aurelus version. Holy crap, he nearly jumped on top of him. But there you go. You have both versions together. And again, out of the two, I like the clear one better, the diamond. Not only because of its rarity, but also because of just how much looks just how drastic of a change it is compared to the original. So I do like it. Now, funny thing is that Darkest Garganoid, I believe, was only Garganoid Ultra. Anyways, was not only was he only released as an Ultra, there is no core version, at least for Battle Planet. Maybe Armed Alliance will be different, but still, he was only released as a Diamond for the Darkest version, I believe. So it's really good that I actually got him. And so. And again, this figure is starting to become really, really hard to find because he's only released in a single pack, in a single Ultra Pack, and single Ultra Packs are basically darn near impossible to find. So, good luck, my Diamond Hunters, if you're looking to get this particular figure, because it is not exactly the easiest one to come by. I just got extremely lucky at a Walmart, and I managed to find him. Now, funny thing is, I actually found him on the top shelf where they sometimes keep the, the extra stock toys. Because sometimes I check those now and then to see if there's anything juicy up there. Because I've actually had some luck doing that, which, by the way, just a little helpful hint for all my, toy collectors out there. If you're going to, like, a Walmart or a Target or something, particularly Walmart, definitely check the top shelves, guys, because sometimes you might get lucky, and there might actually be a diamond amongst the rough up there. And that's where I found the, Diamond Ultra Garganoid that I showed you guys right now, just a few moments ago. That's where I found him. Was on the top shelf of all places. So good thing I checked, because otherwise I would have missed this figure. So glad I got him, because nowadays Garganoid Ultra Diamond, just put that out there, put this out there. He's not exactly a cheap date, as he's pretty expensive, like ridiculously expensive. Like I think he's around $100. I saw him one time on eBay. So there you go. That kind of gives you an idea. I think it's then there was another one I saw that was like $200, $300, and I'm like, are you kidding me? But anyway, that kind of shows you just how rare and just how sought after diamonds are amongst collectors. Especially if they're new in box, they're even more valuable even at that point. But still. Anyways, so moving on to the next figure, I do like this one a lot. This is the only Ultra version of this character I have. This is the Ultra version of Halcor. So, Halcor, as you can see, is a Cerberus. You guys may have already seen him before when I reviewed this guy before, and his Armor Alliance version. But even still, he is a really cool figure, and I quite like him. And as I said before in my other review of the figure, he was only released as an Ultra. They did not release a core version until Armored Alliance, which I still need to get. But anyway, let's move on to actually looking at this guy's detail, starting with the center head. It does look quite nice, as you can see the nice teeth, molded eyes, and the ears molded up here, which again they are posable. So you can kind of make him look like he did something bad, and he's kind of in a shy, kind of like this sad pose, and then you could have his ears perked up how they're supposed to be, to make him look more aggressive and make him look more battle ready, I guess. And then moving on to the side heads, I'm gonna go look at this one because the other one's pretty much the same. Nice purple details on him for the teeth. Nice molded ear. I don't know why it doesn't fold, but it is permanently molded like that. And I do have the nice green there as well. I've got to mention there is a little molded lump right there for his nose. And that's the same for all the heads on the front. Moving on to the body is quite nicely designed. I do like this sort of green accent for the neck kind of joint. I do like the nice molded details going on for his feet, with little tiny indentations marking out his fingers for his paws. Then on the back here, or not really fingers but toes, but anyway. Moving on to the back legs, they again have some nice molded detail for the feet. Nice purple decals on the legs. Or not decals, but, like painted on detail. And I do like these wings as well. Very nicely molded. Although, funny thing is that Halcor in his beast form doesn't have wings at all. So, what's the point? Anyway, and then we do have the nice green on the back of the tail as well. So again, very nice design, but something I don't like about this design, as you can kind of already tell from my earlier kind of statement, was that the wings aren't accurate to the beast form, as Halcor never had wings, which I'm glad the Armored Alliance version did fix this little issue and remove the wings entirely, because he didn't have wings. So, there you go. There you have Cerberus Ultra. Not Cerberus. Who is this again? Halcor Ultra. Jeez. I'm thinking of Kirby as from Beyblade now. Jeez. So, but anyways, really nice figure. Now, sadly, it's the only version of the figure I actually have in the collection, as I did recently find out there are other versions you could have gotten in multiple different packs, but at least I got him in his native faction, which is Darkus, which is great. And at least I got a version of the figure. Now, another thing I should also kind of put here is that closing him up, especially for the first time, it's not exactly an easy feat. But once you get him closed up, I mean, he stays closed, so I guess it works out in that sense. But there you go, that was Halcor Ultra. So let's move on to the next figure, who I said is the second version of this figure I have in the collection. This is Darkus Krakelios Ultra. Now, as I said, I love the way this guy looks in Darkus. I'm actually bringing him into the light a little bit more so you guys can see. He is absolutely wonderful looking. I love the way he looks in this, especially with the white eyes and the black, the purple, and the green. I think all make him look very menacing looking. And make him look much more evil, kind of like a shadow version of Krakelios. I do like the way it looks. Now, moving on to comparison time, let's bring in, it's my original Ventus version. So there you have them. There you have the two Krakelioses together. And again, out of the two, I like this one a lot more, just because the Darkus color scheme makes him look a lot more evil, makes him look a lot more menacing compared to his very leafy, very earth-colored, very nature-colored version. That is the Ventus version. Now again, my one minor complaint I have with that's just a minor gripe I have with the releases that I do have of this figure is that actually I had to reopen them again because I closed them wrong. That's why I did that. Anyway, so moving back to my little bit of ranting, I don't have the Aquos version. I wish I did, because the Aquos version looks way, way, way nicer than either of these two. And also they made a Paris version as well, and the Paris version looks absolutely just amazing looking, at least in my opinion. So that's my one minor gripe that I have with that, is that I wish I had other color versions of it. But still, for the versions I do have, I do like both of them a lot. And I'm glad I at least have the figure in the collection. So, you know, I'm grateful for that at least. That at least I have, you know, not just a version, but versions of the figure. Now, I don't know why, but my Darkest version right now is giving me kind of issues with closing. Okay, there we go. Now it actually stays closed. So, there you go. Oh, you're still here, Agent. Thank you for actually staying to the end. That's actually really awesome. I wasn't expecting you to stay to the end, but glad you're staying to the end nonetheless. So let's move on to the next figure, shall we? Here we already looked at before. In Chaos, this is the Darkest version of Nilius Ultra. And holy crap, nearly jumped and hit the phone stand. But there you go. So there you have him in his darkest form. Again, I'm really happy to have this guy at least in Darkest, at least a version of him in his native Darkest faction for Battle Planet. Again, I wish I had his core version, but again, he's been impossible to find in Darkest. But at least I have his Ultra form, at least. So I'm happy with that. Now again, for comparison's sake, let's bring in the original color variant, that being Chaos Nilius Ultra. Holy crap, he nearly knocked him off the card. Man, holding the arms of this guy is kind of a pain, as you guys can see. I'm doing pretty much right up close to the camera. But there you go. So there you have the two versions together. There you have the two versions together. There we go. And again, out of the two, I like this one more, because it is the native faction of Nilius. He is supposed to be evil, and Darkest is sort of supposed to be the evil faction. So it makes sense. And definitely next to Dragonoid, he looks quite nice. So I do like him. So there you go. There you have Darkest and Nilius Ultra. And the next Bakugan is actually, so far, at least for the time being, at the time of this recording, the last Battle Planet figure I have in the entire collection. And he's one of my favorites in terms of the Ultras as well for Darkus. Just because, again, he's kind of a bit of a chubba chubba, just for lack of better terms. But I love I love his chubbitude. I think it is absolutely fantastic. Again, he is kind of a mold brother to another figure we looked at, which is Pandox. I already mentioned him before. Let's actually bring him into frame. And I love the way this figure looks, as I just said, because, again, I just love the sort of chubbitude this guy got going on. So let me just close up Nilius Ultra in the background. If he would actually stay closed, that would really help me out. There we go. Put him back in his cubby. And let's get out the last figure in the Battle Planet collection. And here he is. So again, this is a mold brother to Pandox. This is Darkus Gorine Ultra. So as you guys can see, Gorine does look quite nice. He is supposed to be a rock golem kind of thing. And I do like the way he looks. So let's move on to his head sculpt. Very interesting head sculpt. Kind of reminds me of, what is it, Shockwave, I think it is? Yeah, Shockwave from Transformers with this kind of head design with this sort of mono eye and his kind of very metallic looking head. So I do like that. Moving on to his big giant beer belly he got going on. Really do like the green kind of core he got going, which is quite nice. I do like the purple details on his chest and these little flappy parts. Nice details for his shoulder pad on the shoulders here. Nice details for his hands. Nice molded and painted fingers for each hand. Nice details going on for the legs with nice, very kind of plainly molded feet. Nice molded detail for his tail as well, which is quite nice. And I really do like the details on this kind of back panel as well. As you can see with the purple and these kind of green, kind of light bars going down the back. Does look quite nice. So that is Gorine Ultra. Now for a comparison, let's bring in his mold brother so you can see just how close they are together. Let me get him in. This is Pandox Ultra, who almost flipped upright until he flopped over because he bounced on his tail. But there you go. There you have the two mold brothers together. And again, out of the two versions of this sort of mold, I actually like Gorine a lot more than I do Pandox. Just because Gorine he's more robotic, and he definitely, you know what else he also reminds me of? He definitely gives me vibes of the Diggernaut from Samus Returns. If you guys know what I'm talking about, that Metroid game. Actually, for most of my Metroid friends, you know exactly what I'm talking about, because I can just not stop talking about just how great Samus Returns is. Anyway, moving away from that, he definitely reminds me of the Diggernaut from that game as well. And also, it kind of reminds me of, Big Daddy from Bioshock as well. He kind of gives me that kind of vibe as well, with this kind of mono eye and kind of steampunk look. That's what I was looking for earlier when I was describing him, is the steampunk look. Yeah. That's what I was looking for. So definitely reminds me of that. He reminds me of Big Daddy from Bioshock, Diggernaut from Samus Returns, and and Shockwave from Transformers. So yeah, there you go. So that is that. And that is going to be it for part 4 of the Ultimate Toy Bakugan Reboot Toy Collection review. And that's going to be the end for the Battle Planet side of the collection. So tomorrow, as I said before, and at the beginning of the series, next part is going to be going over the Art Alliance segment of the collection, which, by the way, there aren't many in that collection. There's a bunch of cores, there's only a few cores, a few Ultras I have, with some Baku gear, and also we do have what else do we have? We do have one Deca as well, which is my first and only Deca in the collection. So there you go. So thank you guys so much for watching this fourth part of the mini-series. If you guys enjoyed it, please make sure to drop a like on this video, and if you're new, to subscribe and turn notifications on, so that way you don't miss out on any of my future videos, including toy reviews and just gaming content. And I will see you guys either on Discord or just in the comment section of the YouTube video. Thank you guys for watching. What is it? Larry Squad, and have a good one.